Hey guys, I just want to say that interracial relationships are, they're great. I think like love should exist in all shapes, sizes, and forms. And I don't think there's one thing I draw the line with, and that is when you attack your own race while dating other races. Let me explain what that is. I mean, I'm Indian, right? Let's say if I were to date like a white woman, and then I started to say that Indian girls like spewing all these negative stereotypes about them, like they smell or they have bad hygiene or they're just argumentative. A common stereotype I see is like the loud black woman, right? And like I seen like a video where there's this black guy talking about, oh, I don't want to date black women because they're loud, but I'll date like a white woman because they don't really talk. And just spewing like negative stereotypes about one's own race while trying to date one another is just it's so awful and it's so prejudiced. And the fact is like you don't have to justify whoever you're trying to like romance, that like you want to romance another race because you don't feel like you don't want to date your own race. Like, why does that have to be like, you don't have to justify that to anyone. Just you find who you find attractive, date whoever you want to date, keep your prejudices to yourself, move on. Another problem I have with this kind of thing is fetishization. Um, Fetishization is very harmful. It's just basically taking a person, saying reducing them to a sexual object and saying, hey, you know what, like your only value is like, for example, your submissiveness, your big black dick, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? um and I've seen it a lot in, at least in like these like TikToks and like social media, people being way too comfortable being like, you know what, I only date black men, I only date white men, I only date whatever. And that's fine. It's cool to have preferences, but it just comes to a point where it's like, okay, cool, like who cares? Who wants to know this? If you have a preference, just keep it to yourself, right? It's fine if you don't want to go outside of your own race. Like people with similar cultures want to identify with someone that they want to date with, and because of like shared cultural experiences they want to stay within their own race. That's completely understandable. But when it comes to like, oh, I just want to date this guy or I just want to date this girl because I heard girls from like Asia are just submissive or something like that, or I heard that black girls are hypersexual, or I heard that stupid shit like that, right? It comes to a point, it's just casually racist. And that's what I'm saying, is that, both hating on your race and fetishizing another person's race are two sides of the same coin. It's just being casually racist and trying to pass it off as um like love. And just reducing people to porn categories is not at all like attraction. Attraction is definitely based on like superficial qualities. I agree. But you can't base a whole ass like relationship off of that. And that's like the mistake that a lot of these people make. Fresh and Fit, they do this thing like, they're black men, but they attack black women on the regular, saying like, oh, they're Shaniquas, they're fucking loud, they're all the negative stereotypes that are associated with black women, they echo whilst trying to date other races. That's the problem I have with interracial relationships, is that like you don't have to denigrate your own race in order to date another. It's fine if you want to date outside of your race. You don't have to make it like fucking known. Just keep it to yourself, move on. And as far as like, oh well, you know what, I had a bad experience with this race, I had a bad experience with like Indian men, I had a bad experience with like black women. Well, it's like, dude or girl, just like keep that shit to yourself, man. Like, just because I'm about to say not all men, not all women, like, just because you had a few burns in the past, you had a few negative experiences with, men that happen to be like Indian or whatever, doesn't, it's not emblematic of the entire population. So if you don't want to like associate with like Indian men, and I know, if you go to India or something like that, they can be very comfortable about like, being way too comfortable about having no civic sense. But like, it does not justify the casual racism that, people can justify by, getting away with this bullshit. The more harmful discussion, the more harmful, like, negative stereotypes that are purported as a result of this, the easier it is for racists to, like, yeah, pass it along and be like, yeah, yeah, like, because that's how, like, casual racism flows. And, like, the Asian example I was talking about, the one about like Asian women and how like, oh, if you were to go to Asia, like Asian women are very submissive and all that, like, negative stereotypes. It very quickly, you don't care about the person. It's just a fetish. It's just a porn category for yourself. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to date someone because like, oh, they're attractive, they happen to be because of another race, that's entirely different from like, oh, I want to fuck a black woman because the black women are known to be hypersexual. Now, any stereotypes that I say in this video, let me say again, they are not they're not what I believe. They are just like common things I see on the internet. And I'm not at all trying to like support it or in any way. I'm not at all trying to say like this is true of every single like person in the population. Because it ultimately, see, that's the thing about fetishization, it can be very quickly veer into racism. That's all I gotta say, man. Um hey, if you love each other, you love each other. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, etc.